Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kitabe Club Live. And today we have with us the very phenomenal Dr. Vivek Mansingh. Let me tell you who Dr. Vivek Mansingh is. So, Dr. Vivek Mansingh is an excellent mentor. He's a global leader, entrepreneur, author, technology visionary, innovator, international speaker, and a philanthropist. His mentoring strategies have helped thousands of people around the world. And today he's here with us to share his thoughts and how his life journey has been. So let's welcome our guest. A very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you, Neha.
So it has been a pleasure to host you, and we are very excited to know about your journey, about your book. And I've read the book, and I have got some amazing insights, which I'm surely going to use in my life.
Wonderful to hear, and I'm so happy that you have read the book. Many interviews I have attended where people have not really read the book. They have flicked through the book, but I'm happy that you have read the book.
All right, sir. So, starting with your life journey. So, you start the book with your life journey, how it has been. You've described your entire life in the first chapter. So,
That's right.
it is really inspiring. But at the same time, I want to know that were there times when you felt dejected, when you were not so motivated? And if so, how did you tackle those situations?
Yeah, excellent question. As you said that in chapter one, I have covered my life story, and I have also covered my failures there. The one important difference this book brings, Neha, is that most self-improvement books are written by trainers and consultants. They have not been there, done that, and that is very difficult. Someone who does not know swimming cannot actually teach swimming, so it is that important. So one big difference I wanted to make was that I wanted it to be based on my real life lessons from some phenomenal people who I have worked with and who are part of the book. You are aware of that. Now, coming back to your question, so I strongly believe that failure is part of success. It is not opposite of success. So no one I know has had 100% record of success, no matter who it is, whether it's Rahul Dravid or Narayan Murthy or John Chambers or whoever, right? So everyone fails. And frankly, unless you fail, you do not know how high you can jump, right?
Very
So
true.
failure is very important part of the equation. Now, in my case, I did not get into IIT, which I wanted to do. And the reason I can explain that I was a Hindi school student who sat on the ground up to grade 8th or 10th, and I'd never seen a paper in English. And when I went to give IIT entrance exam, it was in English, and I couldn't understand many questions. But that apart, I could not succeed in IIT. But here is how you overcome that. So then I said, okay, fine, I cannot learn English in a day, so I went to NIT Allahabad, right? And to compensate for my IIT, I talked to my uncle who was my mentor, and he said, you can overcome it by coming in the top 5% of the class, right? And then I made sure that I top my class actually. So here is a failure, and here is a way you can overcome that failure. So that was one. After PhD, I was rejected for a lot of jobs uh, because I didn't have visa to work in United States. Again, reasons could be different, but you face rejection, and that is part of the game. Again, I overcame that. I got a job to work for HP, and my startup, in 2000 ran out of money because in 2000 the Wall Street was hurting. Lots of banks had failed, and so again, reasons could be plenty, but the bottom line is a startup ran out of the money and we'll have to do a distress sale. So, and literally I fail every day. I mean, it's part of the game. You make your goals so high that if you fail, you shouldn't feel bad about it. Now here for this book, Neha, I'll tell you that when I was talking to Penguin, Penguin was talking about they do first a book print for about 2,000 copies. I said, go with 10,000 copies. And they said, sir, we haven't done that. And I said, go for 10,000 copies. Trust me, we will be okay. I'm planning to have 100,000 copies over the next few years. So now,
Wow.
if and I have said that I want to mentor 1 million people, as you know, you have read the book, right? Now,
Yes,
if
yes.
I end up with 900,000 people, will I be disappointed or should I be happy? Right? So that is how it is all about. I think you should aspire big, as I have said in the book. And if that fails, it's okay. But what if you succeed? And why not actually do everything in your power to succeed? And what I have seen again and again, and in my mentoring to literally thousands of people, that people, if they aspire big and do the right things, they succeed. Not maybe in the first time, but second time, third time, they ultimately get there.
Yes, sir. I truly believe in power of manifestation. And you mentioned that as well in your book and in your mentoring as well, right? And I agree that success, the failure is not the opposite of success, but it is a part of the success. It's just that what we see superficially is the success. We do not, people fail to see the failure or the roadblocks that we face.
Yes, and I think people should not hide their failures. I think that
Failures,
is a
yes.
very important behavior change people can do. Because when they acknowledge in front of other people, they are not afraid of their failures. They are not hiding anything. Yes, I try, like I'm telling you, if I sell 900,000 or impact 900,000 people, uh, I am not ashamed of it. I'll say, yes, I failed to impact 1 million people, but I did 900,000 people. So that's life.
True. So I would like to quote one line from your book, which struck with me. If you have a successful career, you will earn more in the last 10 years of your career than in the first 30. Now, this is the most practical advice that I have ever heard, but how do we resonate to it in the times when we are craving for instant gratification?
Yeah, excellent question, and I'm happy that you noticed that. Actually, I was very liberal with 10 years, but let me tell you, Neha, that in last 5 years of your career, if your career goes exponential, in last 5 years you will earn more than in the first 35 years. That is how important those 5 years are. But to get to those 5 years of that quality, you have to do a lot of things, right? And you have to become better than best and so on, so many things that I have talked in the book about. But let me it's an excellent question. Let me set a little bit of context here. See, people are generally goal driven up to their college and school and so on. I have to do engineering, I have to do medicine, I have to do law, I have to do MBA, etc., etc. Very goal driven. But the moment they graduate, suddenly the goals disappear and they come under their peer pressure and other pressures. He got this offer, she got this offer, so I need to, right? That is I call them opportunity driven. So I
Mhm.
tell this all the time that I have seen goal driven people much, much more successful than opportunity driven people. And so don't become opportunity driven, right? You need to obviously become worthy of your aspirations. And we'll talk about it later by developing core skills that are needed, which I call becoming best version of yourself. Right? But it's very important. Let me give you an example that will clarify. Let us say, some girl wants to build a career in artificial intelligence, right? I'm just giving engineering example, but you can apply it to medicine or any other field, marketing, sales, anything, right? Now let us say you really want to build career in artificial intelligence. So what should you do? Well, obviously you need to do engineering for this, so you will be doing engineering. You start taking courses in artificial intelligence. You will do your internship in artificial intelligence and so on. Now you graduate. Okay, now, Microsoft hires you for some other job and pays you 2 times more salary than the other company that hires you for artificial intelligence but pays you half the salary. which one should you take? I will say go for half the salary, because salary at this point is not important. If you are truly passionate about artificial intelligence, go and work in artificial intelligence. You will do well in your career. You will enjoy your job much more. And if you do that, you will automatically do better in your career. And what I have said is true. In last 5 or 10 years, you will earn more than your first 35 years. So it doesn't matter. That is my advice to my own children, Neha.
Yeah, wonderful. And you've explained through that example very aptly. So we often give weightage to financial and career goals, like we were talking, like you said, that girl would go for more salary if given that choice. Sometimes we youngsters do that. So we give more weightage to financial and career goals, and we tend to take health goals sometimes very lightly, ignore the spiritual goals completely, because we think that this is not the time for this. We'll do this when we grow older. So how can one manage all of these four goals in such a fast and dynamic lifestyle?
Yes, and that is exactly the point of Wheel of Goals, right? So, first of all, you need to aspire to do the right thing. The problem is you cannot park all the other goals for later time, right? So, 2, 3 points I'll mention here. One, which I have talked in the book about Professor Clayton's example at Harvard University, right? So, he followed MBA students of an year, where then he goes to fifth year, 10th year, and 25th year of alumni meet of that batch. Now, let me just walk through for your audience, right? On the fifth year alumni meet of that batch of MBA students, and mind you, these are probably some of the smartest people in the world because they are doing MBA from Harvard. Now, fifth year, as he says, everyone is doing well. Jobs are great, spouses are great, cars are great, houses are great, etc., etc. On 10th year anniversary of that batch, one third of the people don't show up. And when he inquires, he finds that people are having health problems, relationship problem, although they are doing well financially. On the 25th year of the same class, actually half the class does not show up, and many have messed up their relationships, many have had serious health issues, and many of them have ended up in jail, right? These are the smartest people on the planet, and if this happens to them, then what can happen to average person? So bottom line is, it is very important that you address all your goals that are important to you. And generally, as I have explained in the book, one side is your financial or financial goals, your career goals, your money, your cars, and whatever you want, all the material goals, everything put together. But equally important are the other side of the goals, where you have health, you have relationships, you have spiritual goals, you have other goals that are dear to you, right? Giving back goal to me is very important, and I have sort of illustrated the significance of that. So this is the both sides are very important. Now, here is where I will help your audience. It is not possible to live every goal perfectly every day. That is not the purpose also. When I did my startup, I talked to my wife and my children, and I said, next 18 months you will see me less. So I'm sacrificing relationship goals for 18 months in the interest of my profession or career goals. That is perfectly fine, but it cannot be infinite. There is a finite time
True.
when I want to get back to that. Right now, but health goals are not that. Actually, you cannot, you see that these days 30 years old having diabetes, 35-year-old having heart attacks. It just doesn't, if you are dead, you are dead. It doesn't matter which goal and how much money you have. So it's very important
True.
that you do not ignore that. Now, having said that, you have pointed something very important: spiritual goals and giving back goals. People tend to postpone that, but actually they are very powerful ally of yours. And I have explained in the book the power of prayers as well as the power of giving back. I will come back to it if you want later, if we have time. But it is very important. Now, if you haven't set goals and you want to start in this journey, first thing I will tell you is to go and read the book. I want to clarify to your audience that all the book profits are being donated to Chitrakoot Eye Hospital for eye surgery of the poor. So I'm not trying to sell book to make money. I just want to make impact to million people. And so I request all the audience to buy the book and read it. Then they start with maybe 3 goals, maybe 5 goals, maybe 7 goals, whatever you like. But if you stick to 3 goals, 5 goals, slowly you'll get into habit of actually working and balancing your goals. See, we never stop eating, do we? We never stop sleeping, however busy we are, right? We never stop brushing our teeth. So it becomes habit that way, and then it's not that difficult to pursue all your goals over a period of time, not every day, not every week, maybe not even every month. But if you are not doing exercise for a year or 2 or 5 years, it may have devastating effect on you.
So while I was reading about the Wheel of Goals, I actually realized that I'm lagging behind on spiritual goals. And from that day onwards, I started my journey towards that. So a big thank you for that.
No, and I'm happy. Thank you. I take that as a compliment. But as I say, Neha, you go to your prayer, do 5 minutes of prayer, and
Yes.
ask God whatever you want, because God is like your father, like your mother. You don't hesitate to ask your mother or father when you are a child, right? So that works. Now I'll tell you, one big benefit, as I have explained in the book, is that if at least you are clear in your mind where you want help from God, what things you want. If you ask me, Neha, today at 65, um, if God grants me one wish, what that will be, two wish, what will that be, three wish, what will that be, five wishes, what that, I know precisely what I want. That is so important. God gives whatever He'll give. I do not know. I have no recipe for that. But at least you know what you want, and that is again very important part of power of prayers. So I'm happy that you have taken that journey. Just do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you can, but don't miss any part of it. And I'll also encourage you, Neha, if you haven't, give back also in a small or big way, money or time, it doesn't matter, but it has amazing power, and it will influence you in many, many, many positive ways.
I completely agree on that, sir. Uh,
Excellent.
okay, now talking about the four gods according to you. So first of all, I thoroughly enjoyed reading that chapter. According to that, mentor is the third god. How does
Yes.
one find a good mentor who's willing to guide us?
Yes. So for readers' benefit who have not read that chapter, let me just very quickly tell you who are these four gods that I say. I have called it four more gods you need. So one god is God. We have already talked about that. But four more gods are people who inspire you. These are people who, you can say, wow, this person has done. When you start appreciating other people, your brain gets the signal that this is what you like, right? So Narayan Murthy or Kiran Majumdar or Vani Kola or Vinita Bali, whoever, if they inspire you, you don't have to become like them, but they inspire you and you learn one or two things from them. Like I inspired by Rahul Dravid. I like his humility, I like his focus on excellence, I like many things. But I don't want to be a cricketer, I can't, right? So people who inspire you have that sort of role to play. Then role models are people who you want to be like. They give you perfect destination, that if some of your audience want to be Vani Kola, well, here is what I want to do, or Vinita Bali, or Kiran Majumdar. And the book is very balanced, you will notice. There are equal number of men and women by and large whenever I have given an example, right? So there is no difference. Now the third god is a mentor, and fourth is the book. Let me talk about the third one. So mentors are, I have said it again and again, everyone, I believe, needs a mentor and deserves a mentor. No one at any age, At my age, I have several mentors. And throughout my life, I have had mentors. So I've had about 10 mentors in my life. And I give all my success credit to them. That is how important they are. Starting from my mother to my uncle to my professor to my managers and other people. So mentors are very important. Now, how do you get that? So 2 points. One, in India, the culture of mentoring is still in infancy. Um, so what do people do? They take advice either from their parents, which is okay if they are qualified, or their peer group. Peer group is generally the worst to give you advice. It's blind leading the blind. They don't know any better than you do. So that is the problem. So that is exactly the purpose of my book. That this book acts as mentor. It helps you take 3 steps, 5 steps, and after that you will be ready and you will see the mentor or the guru arrives in your life. Like in our mythology, they say when Shishya is ready, the guru arrives, right? So, but the problem is if you don't take 5, so I mentor a lot of people and I point them out. Today I mentored somebody. I said, have you read my book? He said, yes. I said, do you have your wheel of goals? He said, yes. And I looked at it. In 5 minutes, I was able to guide him, not in hour and a half. So that is the power. So I think first thing is, first step, take the book, use book as your mentor, and then look around. Mentors are all over. So the qualification of mentor is mentor should have been there, done that in the path that you want to go. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, for example, pick a mentor who is an entrepreneur. You wouldn't want to take coaching of tennis by a cricket coach, would you? No, right? So you would want to hire a tennis coach for tennis. Similarly, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, approach someone. But all these people are very busy, of course, and so they will say, tell me what you have done so far. And if you say, look, I read this book, right here is the book, by the way. So if you I have read this book, I have done this from book, and now I am looking for this, I can tell you people will not say no to you, and they are all around you. It is just that you haven't really looked for them.
So clarity in our minds is the most important thing. Clarity of our goals, and especially I think that's the reason Wheel of Goals is so important.
So important. So I said they have to have traveled that path, right? Now if you don't know what you want to be, do you go to a doctor to mentor you, go to a lawyer to mentor you, go to a salesperson to mentor you, go to a social media, who will mentor you? So first
True.
you need to decide which path, and then you ask help, and it will be there. It will be there. But book will take you a long way. Frankly, every mentor may not be as qualified. I have spent almost all 35, 40 years mentoring people. So I have captured that in the book. So you have a book with you, and then you select your path, like you rightly said, Neha, decide your goals, and then figure out who is the right mentor for you. And 9 out of 10 people will say yes to you if you have taken 4 steps yourself.
Absolutely. Okay, sir. So now we're talking about the fourth God. You say that they are books. So what are you reading these days?
Yes, so I'm an avid reader. I have covered it in the book also. As my life went through different stages, I have read different books. And I'm a big fan of books. So I always say that you read 50 books and you will change your life. You don't have to read 50 books in 1 year. You may read in 2 years, 4 years, whatever. But start reading it. And I know your club is big on this, so I'm a big proponent of your club as well as your activities. And I looked at the website, and I just am impressed that you all are driving this very, very noble cause. And I'm happy to partner with you if any way I can help you, again, by appearing in several chapters you have. I saw that on the website. I'll be happy to do that. Now coming to
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
give you the answer to your questions. um, I right now I'm reading second time a book called A Trillion Dollar Coach. It is by Bill Campbell, and Bill Campbell has coached the who's who of Silicon Valley: Steve Jobs, Google founders, Yahoo founders, Intuit founders. Now think about it for a moment, that these people can benefit from mentoring and coaching at that level. Then who are you and me? How much can we benefit if these people can benefit? So Trillion Dollar Coach is a good book, but I wouldn't advise it to very young people because it is written for CEOs. It's not written for a common person. um, uh, my book, let me tell you, Neha, I'm going to repeat it a little bit, but many times after my talks, people ask me if there's one book to recommend, which one will that be? And I always struggled to answer that question until, and frankly, I wrote the book as answer to that. If there's one book I can recommend you as a self improvement, I will recommend my book without hesitation. But other books, now let me tell you, there are three pillars in the book I advise. One is innovation, or thinking out of the box, other is excellence, and the third is leadership. These are the core skills that people need to develop to realize their potential, to become the best version of themselves. There are three books I can recommend here which I have read: Innovation by Rishikesha, who's a friend and director of IIM Bangalore. On excellence, there is a In Search of Excellence by Tom Peters, a very old, maybe 30-year-old or so book, but very, very nice. And leadership books by Jack Welch. There are plenty of them. So lots of books there. But I will recommend one thing to people to tie my earlier point here. Uh, People who inspire, let's say you are inspired by one by, let's say, Kiran Majumdar, right? There are books on Kiran Majumdar. You may not be able to meet her, and that is why I have interviewed the people I have interviewed, because the idea is they will be able to inspire you. You will not be able to meet them, but at least I have been able to meet. And these people, as you know, Neha, Ratan Tata, Narayan Murthy, Kiran Majumdar, Dr. Devi Shetty, and Vinita Bali, Vanikola. I have selected people from various profession, so at least
Right.
one should match your path, and you can go and read their books. So I have read books of Nandan Nilekani, Narayan Murthy, Bill Gates, Dell, Chambers, Steve Jobs. So many books I have read. And on the spiritual front, I have read autobiography of a yogi. If that, it's not easy to read, but it's a wonderful book to read. And Inner Engineering by Sadhguru can be read. So it's hard to recommend one book, Neha. However, I will still say, if you have time to read only one book, read the book that I have written. It will help you tremendously.
So yes, all our viewers, you need to pick this book and you definitely have to read it.
Thank you, Neha.
Uh, so now coming to the point that you have interviewed so many people from different walks of life. So you've interviewed Rahul Dravid, Narayan Murthy, Ratan Tata. So what were a couple of common learnings from all of them?
Yeah, excellent question. And I truly encourage people to read all that chapter. It's a very significant chapter. I'm very thankful to these very distinguished people to give me time. All the interviews are also, by the way, on my website. If you go to vivekmansingh.com, full interviews are there. You can actually enjoy watching the ones that you would like to. If Narayan Murthy is your role model, or person inspires you, go and read that interview. It is just amazing. Now, these are not generic interviews. Don't compare them to other YouTube interviews that are available. Those are generic interviews where, how did you grow up, where you come from, how did you, these interviews that I have done are on the content of the book, and all these people are underlining my ideas. So it has a lot of authentication even in the eyes of these phenomenal people. Now, your question is, what are the common learnings from these people? I think a couple I will say. One is that they are all very passionate people about their goals, all of them. They have goals and they are very, very passionate about them. They also generally have multidimensional and balanced goals. So, John Chambers, for example, he runs 5 miles a day. He's a CEO of a $50 billion company. If he can find time, if Obama or Clinton can find time to run, how can we say that we don't have time? Right? It's not possible. So I think they all have clear goals, balanced goals, and they are very passionate about it. And I have explained the science of passion in the chapter of passion. Pay attention to that. Passion is amazing if you can trigger it and use it the way I have described in the book. They all have core of leadership, thinking out of the box, and excellence skills. So that these are the three chapters I have written in the book, that these are three pillars on which you can build your career, you can build your personality, and you will become the best version of yourself through that, right? In addition, all of these people that you named have one core strength. They are good in all these skills, but they are very, very good in one of these skills, right? So let me give you Steve Jobs, for example. Very creative and innovative person. So he is a good leader also. He has excellence also. He has innovation and out of the box thinking also. But one thing where he excels is creativity, right? If you look at Michael Dell, is on execution. If you look at John Chambers, it is on customer focus, and so on and on. So all of these people have one very towering strength, and that is something we can learn from them. Uh, as I've said, most important part that we can learn from them is these people have created phenomenal legacy, and yet they have had balanced goals. They have spent time with their family. They have spent time on their health. They are deeply spiritual by and large, and they all have given back phenomenally. So let me tell you an instance from Narayan Murthy's life, which is an interview. People think that when all their needs are met, then they will give back, right? So jab sab kuch ho gaya, all responsibilities are over, I have this much money left, then I take a small tiny portion of that and give it to somebody and say, okay, my box is checked, I have given back. That is not how you give back, right? So let me tell you about Narayan Murthy's story. There were 8 brothers and sisters, and his father was a school teacher in a village, and mother was a homemaker. So 10 people to feed from the salary of a school teacher. Now, every day, his mother invited one less fortunate child to come and eat with them. That is giving back. Whatever I have, just share it. Nobody is asking you to give billions, right? Why can't you teach your driver's daughter for 30 minutes? What does it take? No money required, nothing required. And frankly, let me tell you that it will give you 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times back in so many ways that you cannot imagine. So all these people have done these, what I told you. Little longer answer, Neha, but it's important for people to know that.
Absolutely. And sir, this is an amazing way to give back. So you don't need a lot of money to give back, and it's not money only that you need to give back. There are many ways of giving back to the society. Absolutely amazing. So it was a pleasure talking to you, and we have learned so much. Not just the book. The book definitely was very inspiring, but talking to you, knowing your views, and was even better. And I would certainly urge all my viewers here, all the Kitabe Club audience, to definitely pick up the book, and I'm sure you will be inspired and you will find your mentor.
Thank you, Neha. Can I mention a couple of points if we have a few minutes?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay. So I think, like you said, I actually tell people that go and read the book. It will change your life. It may change in slowly, which is okay, but it will change. And as you mature, the learnings from the book will be different. Actually, Neha, I'll encourage you to read the book again, and you will find that you have learned few more things. So the book is for 15-year onwards. If you have children in the ninth grade, that is when you start making decisions of life, and we start making decisions by generally wrong reasons. So make sure that your children, as well as you, and it's not a children's book, you can also get benefit from that. So that is very, very important, right? It will help you. It will be your first mentor, and then second mentor will arrive when you are ready. I can tell you that. And one last quotation from the book that I will tell you is that future should not be decided by extrapolation of your past. Future should not be decided by extrapolation of the past. It should be driven by aspirations of the future. So don't be constrained by what you have done so far. Go by aspirations of the future. All these big people have achieved big things by aspiring much bigger. And let me just give you an example, and I close that. Mahendra Singh Dhoni was a ticket collector, right? Now, he didn't aspire to become a station master. He aspired to play cricket for India, and he did, right? There are many, many entrepreneurs who I work with every day. These are 25, 30, 35 year olds. They may have been engineer or lawyers or whatever, but now they are planning to build very successful large global companies. So there are people who are aspiring big. Just look around, learn from them, but remember this. If one thing you remember from today's conversation, it is that future should not be decided by extrapolation of the past. It should be decided by aspirations of the future. Thank you so much, Neha.
Thank you, sir. I think I'm going to sleep really well today because I've had a wonderful conversation and these learnings are going to be with me. And I'm definitely going to give this to my son also to read.
What age is your son?
He's 11 right now.
Okay, so he's getting there. All right.
Yes.
Lovely,
So
lovely,
thank you so
lovely.
much, sir.
Thank you. Enjoyed talking to you. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.